Union of the Unknowns, a podcast dedicated to the exploration of modern culture, presents a weekly digest of current events that may have slipped past your radar. This is not your mama's news.
Welcome to another episode of Union of the Unknowns, where this is our Not Your Mama's News episode, just like you heard in the intro. And today we are super excited about our audience, well, our guests, and also the faces that you rarely ever get to see that we all love. And don't mind this mask. I just want to make sure that everybody feels safe because, you know, the vid is going back around again and we know that masks work. And so I just wanted to make sure that we feel safe with this.
I don't feel safe, Jackie.
You don't feel safe?
No.
Is the mask what doing it? Is that what's making you feel unsafe right now?
I feel a cough coming on.
Okay, well, since they don't work anyways,
I'm worried that a droplet will go over the internet and infect me.
I think all they do is they focus the COVID cooties and direct them, more strongly towards the people's orifices.
Yeah.
Well, since I don't want to keep reinfecting myself, I just rather infect others. Okay, so we have so we're gonna go ahead. Terry, I just want to introduce you, Mr. Terry Canary.
Hello, everybody.
We have our beautiful big Perm.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
We have a special guest on tonight. I think this is his second appearance. Scott. Welcome, Scott.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for joining us. Our
Good to see you,
Scott. New Englander from Massachusetts or Connecticut or wherever. Who knows? But it is Brewski. We love you, Brewski.
Connecticut. Hey, everybody. I am from Massachusetts. I live in New Hampshire now.
Oh, that's what it is. Whatever.
The free state of New Hampshire.
Yes. The free-ish.
Somewhere up there.
Free-ish state of New Hampshire.
I feel like you have to say that every time you say New Hampshire now.
Yes. We do want to put up razor wire to keep people from Massachusetts from coming in.
And then the voice that you heard on the intro and one of our favorite IT guys, the one that will be managing everything tonight. So if it screws up, just blame him. Welcome, Keel Thor.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Great.
So we're gonna get started with our first story this evening. We have a full house, and Terry, why don't you go ahead and get us started with this gnarly story that you have?
A gnarly story, yeah. Well, I'm going to revisit one of my favorite subjects of election fraud, and
that doesn't happen.
Going to be a Tucker Carlson interview. No, of course, we all know that the election was the most safe and secure in history, just like masks and, the things we're not supposed to talk about. But anyway, Tucker Carlson is going to be releasing soon an interview with the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton. And Ken Paxton has been saying in this interview that there was election fraud going on in the 2020 election. And he thinks that the main way that the Dems pulled it off was that they stopped counting in certain places, and saying there's a water leak or whatever. So they stop counting, and then they count up the votes they've got, and they work out how many mail-in ballots they have to create in order to get the win for the man they want, which of course was Biden in this case. So I think there's been a lot of election fraud in a lot of US elections, and not always by the Dems. I think probably the George W. Bush election was subject to a lot of fraud as well. So it just depends who the guys in the deep state want in, and on this occasion they wanted the Dem guy to be in. So I don't think that's the only trick they pulled. There's been, it's quite a good documentary called 2000 Mules, which showed Dem operatives stuffing ballots left, right, and centre. harvesting ballots from old and confused people, possibly, and then stuffing them into ballot boxes. And also, there was a lot of shenanigans going on late at night where they're pulling out ballots from under the desk, running ballots multiple times through voting machines, which seemed to be able to be tampered with very easily, and were connected to the internet when the manufacturers were assuring that they couldn't be connected to the internet. So there was quite a lot of different types of shenanigans. So I don't think that was just the only thing they did, but I think he's hit the nail on the head, really, because we all remember those graphs of, coming up to the night where Trump was ahead, and then there's suddenly a giant leap in the number of ballots for Biden, and suddenly he takes the lead, when the polling stations were closed because they decided they wanted to close them. It's extraordinary to me that America can't count all their ballots in a night, but this is the situation we're in. There seems to be
it's a very new
technology
shenanigans. Counting, it hasn't been perfected yet.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
we've
got such a huge country. It takes a while to count all those.
Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned this before, that the UK has like 50 million voters, or 50 million population anyway. So it's smaller than America, but it's still quite a lot of people, and we have quite a lot of different, what they call constituencies, and they all get counted overnight. So everyone knows the results the next day. And in this case, in the US election, there was a huge delay while they were kind of adjusting numbers, I guess. So
it was interesting too. Like,
in my mind, it
was interesting too.
Sorry,
like
Karen.
all the swing states here, they all pause counting at the same time, and then the next morning, like, hey, all these swing states, like, they all went for Biden. Like, there's some coordination going on there, It's like, come on. But no, like you said, it's the most secure election in history.
It's funny how all of it's starting to come out. Sorry, I was just going to say, it's funny how it's all starting to come out. Okay. Go ahead, Terry.
Sorry, Jackie. My delays obviously kicking in again. There's been a lot of successful prosecutions about election fraud. So, not mainly on local elections, but one or two for the national elections as well. And what Scottski was saying about the swing states, for people who think or are skeptical that it's difficult to fix an American election, you only have to fix them in the swing states. And I've got 6 down here: Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada. Within each of those states, you really only have to fix one county, and that's corresponding to the main cities, which we know are Dem strongholds. So for Georgia, it will be Atlanta, Arizona, Phoenix, Michigan, Detroit, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Nevada, Las Vegas. And if you get control of the polling stations in those cities, or just maybe even just a few of them, you can control the whole election, basically. So it's not really that difficult.
Yeah. And it'd be nice if these lawsuits would actually follow through with what they want to do instead of just getting thrown out on technical whatever, because they don't, the ballots and things, they may get recounted, but they don't get examined. And that's what all these lawsuits are about, because they're about fake ballots and duplicates and all this kind of stuff. So
right. And then they bring those up, and then the court's like, no, you don't have any standing, so we're just going to toss the lawsuit. And it's frustrating.
And then the headlines all say this was all adjudicated. There was no fraud. We had the lawsuits got thrown out because they had no basis in reality. And of course that's not true.
And then it all starts to come out now once the election, once his term is over with, to move on to the next person, because who cares at this point? He's already ruined the country. a little bit at a time. They do it piece by piece. They make it slow. It's kind of like the frogs that are slowly being killed in a hot bucket of water.
Those frogs slowly being turned
It's
gay.
the
Is that
slow
what you're
run.
talking about?
I was just gonna say that.
No,
Turning
like
the
when you're
friggin' frogs
cooking,
gay.
so they think it's lukewarm, so they're just like hanging out swimming, or crabs in a bucket or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they're just hanging out swimming around,
a
but
hot
you
tub.
slowly turn the heat up, and they don't realize that they're being cooked to death until all of a sudden they're dead.
I don't know. Has anybody ever
jacuzzi?
actually tried that? Is anybody actually tried slowly boiling a frog? I wonder if that actually works or not.
No, because I'm not a sociopath.
Oh, where is Ashley and Stella? They couldn't make this episode tonight.
We gave them the night off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eh.
they've been holding this whole show together for a long time. They deserve a break.
They have. Yeah. We owe them a great debt.
Shout out to Ashley.
So,
Okay. So, any other things about Terry's story or anything like that? Were you about to say something else, Terry?
Well,
Sorry.
I was going to say about Scottski, what you said about no standing. This no standing thing drives me nuts, because how can you not have standing if you're a voter and you're saying my vote has not been counted properly in this election, and the judge says, you've got no standing, because you weren't really affected. And it's just ridiculous argument.
Yeah, it's like the judiciary they don't want to get involved at all. So they're like, nope, you don't got any standing. So they just push it back to the legislature, and it's frustrating.
That's because elections are fake and gay, so voting
really
doesn't
are.
count anyway.
Yes.
Yep.
They are fake and gay, yeah.
Right in these nuts going forward. So.
Oh my goodness. Someone says that they're collecting unfiltered news tube service and they're voting for myocarditis.
Gotta do the love icon there. I can't. I'm not good at that. There we go. There's the love.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So speaking of love, Scott, well, you're up next. What story are you bringing to the news channel?
So there was an article I saw from Zero Hedge where it said the U.S. has the biggest government in the history of the world by a very large margin.
Yay.
Number one.
We are number one. Yep. Let's go bomb some more countries. Yep. So, yeah, apparently, just given our our inflating debt, etc., like all sorts of people are on government funded programs. Like in the Zero Hedge article, and I'm quoting here, like 70 million Americans are on Social Security, 65 million Americans are on Medicare and Medicaid, and then 41 million Americans are on food stamps. And it goes on to say in the article, like, we're not technically a socialist country, but we're pretty well on the road, to that path. Mm-hmm. So just given our debt, $34 trillion in debt, and all these people on government programs, like, yeah, we're well on the road to socialism.
I think we might even have skipped right over it, and we might be beyond socialism.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I agree with you there. I think we're already there. I mean, I think what we look at nowadays is what, people who were defining socialism way back when, 100 years ago, whatever, that's where we've gotten. We've gotten there already.
Yeah.
By the actual, we're there. We just can't see it because we've been slowly boiling this whole time,
Exactly.
Right.
And they don't call it socialism. They just got all kinds of other names for it, but
yeah, democratic socialism. It sounds nicer.
When you have a guy that calls himself a Republican signing off on $2 trillion worth of shit, that's a little socialist.
Yep. Yep. Let's print money like it's going out of style.
What was the basis for measuring it as the biggest government, Scottski? Was it just the amount of money they're spending? Or
just the amount of money. Like, where does it say in the article? Back in like 1980, I think it was an article, like our debt was like 1 trillion. And then like 30 years later, we're up to 34 trillion. So it's an astronomical number. And even the interest we're paying on that debt is like almost $1 trillion each year. So it's like we're never going to pay that back. So
well, it's
the
bigger
only
than
way,
GDP, right?
exactly. It's like the only way we're going to see ourselves out of this is if our government collapses. So
it's a Ponzi scheme that just keep.
Yeah,
it really is.
it's a Ponzi scheme.
I don't know. My
crazy.
mom
Do you know,
has.
Sorry,
ahead,
I've got a
Terry.
quiz question for you. Do you know what the biggest asset is on the US government books? What they count as their biggest asset?
It's got to be personnel. All the people that are employed by the
Humans?
federal government. That's usually the most.
No, it's that. Bear in mind they own all this land. They've got a big military. You know,
I was
all
going
that
to say
sort of thing.
missiles.
It's actually, well, yeah, it's actually student debt. They count that as
Really?
their biggest asset.
Really interesting. I did not know that. I just learned something tonight. Cheers.
Cheers.
I was going to say that my mom is on, the senior citizen insurance and stuff like that. For I think it's Medicaid. I always get the two confused. And then we got her approved because my mom, she only thinks she makes is Social Security. That's it, which is like $1,400 a month. So, she gets, but she didn't plan very well. So, but she did have a child that helps to take care of her. So she does get. After 5 years of putting in for it, we got finally got her like long-term care insurance. So we have her senior citizen Medicaid insurance. I think is done through Humana. And basically all of her medications and stuff like that were paid for by, Humana and the Medicaid and the taxpayers that pay into that, obviously. And so we got a letter the other day, I guess, because she's got on also qualified for like the portion of the poor people's insurance for Medicare. And so we got a letter saying that they're switching our prescription insurance from like no copay on anything is fully covered to now we have to switch to something and we'll have a copay, which doesn't make sense. So you put on the poor people's insurance to start paying money. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter to me as long as it's not like hundreds of dollars per prescription. But because we'll pay for it. It's not a big deal. But I just thought that was kind of funny. I was like, what an oxymoron. But we are part of the problem because we do take advantage of some of that. But I also do manage and take care of a lot of the other costs. Like they don't pay for any of the utilities or anything like that around the house. None of that stuff is covered. The mortgage and all that stuff's paid for. We just get help with her with assistance for someone to come and for 10 hours a week or 14 to come get my mom up and clean her and make something for her and stuff and just help with the family, relieve the family a little bit. So it's a full-time job. So
I never understood the reason for like low copays. I get that it's so you're putting a little skin in the game or something in the transaction.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, at that level, it's probably not very high. And if you're already receiving assistance, what's the point of having a copay in something like that? I don't get that.
I have no idea. It's really stupid. It's so stupid because they're like, because I have prescription and medical is all done through Humana. Like, why make someone switch? But again, that's because it's the government. And we allowed them to get more involved into it. I didn't know what all it was going to encompass. I should have just left it the way it was, honestly.
So they're making your mom pay with the Social Security she's receiving from the government back to the government in the form of copay.
It's protection.
Subsidized healthcare.
But she paid into the Social Security. No, she paid into that because even when she was self-employed, she purposely, through her accountant, paid into Social Security. So she paid into that. But I was like thinking, you could have just reinvested that into another account and probably made more money back. But whatever.
Have you looked at GoodRx at all?
I use that for myself because I don't have insurance. So I refuse to get on Obamacare.
Yeah. So my doc gave me a card for one of my prescriptions and like now I use that for all my stuff and it's cheaper than my insurance. So I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going with it. So I don't know if any of her, check that out for her as well.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Might take a little bit. Sorry, girls screaming in the background here.
It's your parrot that you
That's
keep in
fine.
the living room.
Well, they're probably screaming in horror at the level of US debt.
Yes.
Pretty much.
In a way, it's part of the big farm. It's part of the big pharma racket as well, isn't it? Because the US government is effectively subsidizing big pharma by getting everyone on these drugs that, they're subsidized by the government, and it's all a terrible Ponzi scheme, as you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's not sustainable. I mean, there's no Western country that can go on like this. I think there might be a big collapse coming this year, because I can't see where else it's going to go.
Well, they just
Something's
keep coming
happening.
up with reasons to print more money. It should have collapsed 100 times by now.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm no
they need
economist, but there's something's not right.
Right.
I hope you're wrong, but it's a long time coming. I mean, it's going to collapse at some point. Something's got to happen. That's the last support structure is going to break underneath all that weight. There's just no way it can't.
Yeah.
That I'd say Obama thing, but it pretty much is anyways. But that Biden thing with the school debt definitely went through, because my friend sent me a text message and she's like, I owed all this school debt and I went in to go start paying it. And then she sent me a screenshot. She goes, thanks, Biden. She's definitely not a Biden fan at all. But she was like, thanks, Biden. I was like thinking, yeah, B, you're welcome from your taxpayers, B.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so, okay. Does anybody else have anything with Scott's story? Because we can move on to Perm. Perm, you're up next. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Okay. Perm, what you got for us?
All right, I decided for my first appearance on Not Your Mama's News, I didn't want to go geopolitics, wanted to go a different direction. So,
cheers to Perm.
My story came out like a week ago, I think it was, and it's about recurrent phenomenon of tourists returning artifacts stolen from Pompeii. And if you're not familiar with Pompeii, it was a city that was destroyed by Mount Vesuvius in 79 CE, whenever that was, a long, long time ago.
AD, current epoch.
Well, it says CE on the article.
Yeah. Well, it's current epoch is the placement for AD.
I've never seen
they
that
do
before.
that to be inclusive, I'm afraid. They do that to be inclusive because they think AD is too Christian. So it's I'm sorry.
So it's like some DEI.
This is my first run with.
Exactly, it's a DEI sort of fake shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So the director of Pompeii's archaeological park shared a note from a visitor who claimed to have, I'm going to read the note. I didn't know about the curse. I didn't know what I should not take. I didn't know that I should not take any rocks. Within a year, I got breast cancer. I'm a young and healthy female, and doctors said it was just bad luck. Please accept my apology. And these pieces, and I can't read the bottom of it, but there's 3 rocks next to the note. And apparently this happens all the time, that people take things from the site and bad luck follows. And it reminded me of when the Brady Bunch went to Hawaii, and I think it was Bobby had this little tiki statue, and all of a sudden a bunch of bad things just kept happening during their time there.
I just saw that episode like a week ago.
Wow.
Good timing then.
Did they have more kids? That would be a bit of a disaster for the Brady Bunch.
I was thinking he's not going to say Brady Bunch, is he?
Did it?
I had to.
And there was that creepy guy living in the cave.
I don't remember that part.
I think he had.
I remember the Minahunis though. Wasn't there Minahunis, or is that the Full House one where they went to Hawaii?
I don't know.
So yeah, there's not a lot to this one, but basically this happens all the time.
Yeah, I believe it. People take artifacts.
I've got stuff to say about it. So is it just rocks? Is it just rocks, or do they steal artifacts? statues.
So
and
for this
things.
specific note, it was just rocks. But it sounds like there's artifacts too that people have been taking and sent similar letters after returning the artifacts.
That's crazy.
Wow. It sounds a bit like Tutankhamun's curse as well, doesn't it? Because all the people that went into Tutankhamun's tomb, supposedly bad things happened to them.
Yeah.
And they watch like Indiana Jones.
Although I think some of them,
like
you know, he died of a heart attack at 82 or something. So,
yeah. No, Jackie, they didn't have Indiana Jones back in 1923 or whenever Tutankhamun's tomb was uncovered.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't be taking any artifacts now, though. Go ahead, Terry.
I've got something to add to this story. I've been to Pompeii, and it's a bloody amazing place. It's fantastic. It's you can actually see this whole Roman. You'd love it, Keel. This whole Roman city kind of laid out. You can go into the shops and everything, and you can see the on the roads. You can see the sort of tracks that have been left by generations of carts going down, and they've left these sort of ruts in the stone roads. It's really amazing. And one of the most extraordinary things about it is I saw this guy going into like a little shed. It was like the sort of cleaner or something. And instead of having like loads of mops and brushes and things, there were loads of these Roman pots. So they got so much stuff, they were sort of storing it wherever they could. So and they're sort of struggling with finance because they keep finding all this stuff, and they haven't really got anywhere to put it, and they don't really know what to do with it, or haven't got the money to restore this stuff. It's really amazing. And there's a similar city close by, Herculaneum, which Pompeii was kind of buried in ash. Herculaneum was buried by mud, and in some ways it's even better, but it's all under a suburb of Naples. So they're actually digging out under people's houses, and they can't get to the whole city because they'd have to, destroy some people's houses who are living in the suburbs of Naples. It was really great.
Yeah,
That
but I didn't
really
take
cool.
anything, so I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yeah,
lucky
really cool.
man. You just made my story so much better by describing the area.
Terry does that.
Pompeii
If you're ever there,
really cool.
see. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's an amazing wealth of just kind of flash frozen archaeological significance. I mean, it's and you can question the validity of some of the things where the people get frozen in volcanic ash and turn to stone or whatever, and they uncovered the people, and you can see rooms with kind of they're statues, but were real humans at one point standing there. And I mean it sounds all right to me, but I mean you can question whether that's true or not. But as I understand it, Pompeii, back when it was alive, was actually kind of a tourist destination that Romans would go to, and back during that time.
It was a big city. It was a big port. It was one of the chief ports of Rome. So it was very important. I don't want to dominate this section, but I've got something else to say about that. We didn't see the bodies, but for a long time it was a mystery why, and they, like you said, people couldn't work out why these bodies were sort of mummified and frozen in death. And that's because they didn't know about pyroclastic flows, and they only really sort of realized how damaging they could be when the volcano in Washington went off. What was that called? Someone help me out.
Mount St. Helens.
The faint Mount St. Helens. Thank you very much. Yeah, and so a lot of people were killed there by pyroclastic flows, and then that's what they realized. That's what had happened to Pompeii, because these things are, they actually sort of fry you instantly because they're so hot.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about Mount St. Helens
I think
today.
they burn all the oxygen out of the air. Right.
Yeah.
And I was telling someone on the 509 Divine podcast that my mom still has a bottle of ash that she scooped up on the side of the freeway a day or so after it blew.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty
Where
cool.
does she store that?
It's just like a little glass bottle. It was on our kitchen counter for my whole life growing up. I don't know where she has it now.
Yeah, I had an uncle who
I could
has
send
since
you
passed
guys
away,
some if you want.
but I remember back in the 80s when Mount St. Helens erupted, and he was living right there at the time, and my parents were both freaking out. Oh gosh, is he okay? Is he okay? And they were getting him on the phone, and he was fine. You know, he wasn't like right next door to it or anything, but he's got pictures of it, you know, smoking and
Wow.
whatever. Yeah. Or had pictures.
Very spectacular, yeah. Of course, Perm's over there in the danger zone, isn't he? Where he lives.
He is.
Right.
Well, I'm a little higher altitude, but we have a valley near Mount Rainier that is really the danger zone. St. Helens is 3 hours away, I think. Rainier's only an hour and 20 minutes away. But there's a valley near there that we'll definitely need to evacuate if that guy ever goes off.
Mm-hmm. It will.
Yeah, just make sure if Mount Rainier ever blows up, just make sure you drink all your beer before it blows. We'll see it frozen in time. Like,
yeah,
they said that Rainier's been past due for a long time.
Oh, it's been past due for a long time.
Wow. You'll have a great story for the plus side, Perm, is you'll have a great story for Not Your Mama's News. So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be going and staying on the East Coast for a couple of weeks if that's the case.
I got you.
Sweet.
Or you just move over here to the East Coast and hang out with the rest of us.
Yeah,
like a real man.
Gotta make a piss out to Wisconsin here. Drink some beer.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to start watching baseball at 10 o'clock at night, man. 7's already late enough.
Yep.
Volcanoes ain't so bad. You know, they're nothing. I'm telling you. You know, a real man can live through a volcano, no problem.
There you go.
And not get burned up. So, to one of our favorites, who loves the beer, Bruce, our very own. Welcome. Hi. And what you got for us tonight, Bruce?
It's a bit of a strange story here. The headline is Kansas City Chiefs fans found frozen to death in their friend's backyard, and their parents say they think they saw something they shouldn't have. So there was these
dead people.
4 gentlemen. Yes. 4 gentlemen were,
I see,
from what I read in the story, were watching a football game at this one of their houses, and the guy that lives there went to bed. And he went after they watched the football game or something, and he slept for 48 hours. I guess people couldn't get a hold of him, and somebody called for a wellness check, and the police showed up, and they found his 3 friends, what they are calling frozen to death in his yard. They went in and woke the guy up, and he said he didn't know how they died. They were just outside frozen. And there was one other gentleman there who said when he left, they were all watching Jeopardy together. So there were 5 there. 1 left. They were all still alive. The guy that lives there went to bed, slept for 48 hours, and the other 3 were outside dead.
To me, it sounds like they were drugged.
Well, that's the thing. As far as when I read this story, they hadn't got to the toxicology stuff yet. But some of the parents of the dead individuals are suspicious. They're saying they think there was something funny going on, but they're going to check for drug overdoses and things like that. But he had slept for nearly 48 hours after the game and only learned that the bodies were there when the police visited his home for a welfare check.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
It sounds like definitely he got drugged and the 2 guys else got drugged. And then, so that's 3. And then there's 2 missing people. The one that left. And so who's the missing person?
Well, there's the guy that lives there,
Right,
and
that's
then
one.
and then the 3 dead fellas.
Oh, 3 guys outside, so that's 4.
And then the one that
then the
left and said when he had left, all 4 were in the house watching Jeopardy.
Oh, he said they were in the
Right.
house watching Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I'll take mysterious deaths for $100.
Right.
And
Right.
and everybody fell asleep except for the guy that left. He didn't have any issues.
He'd gone home, and that's it.
He didn't sleep for 48 hours. So to me, he's the only one that wasn't like knocked out. So it sounds like he might have roofied these other
Right.
guys.
So like the one guy didn't leave his home for 2 days. He was sleeping, he claims, for 48 hours.
Was there urine in his bed? Did he pee on himself?
Well,
Did he poop on himself?
There
Was there
wasn't
anything
any
like
of that. There wasn't any of that in the
Then
story
he's
yet.
lying.
Just a lot of speculation from
Then
this.
he's
Is
lying because he would have peed
I
himself.
I have a conventional explanation. Could be carbon monoxide poisoning. We get that a lot in the UK when it gets very cold. People turn on these ropey old heaters.
No, but these guys were outside.
Carbon monoxide.
They were
knock you out.
They were outside.
They were
Oh, yeah, that's
outside
true.
though.
Yeah.
So were the doors
Yeah.
locked or something? They couldn't get back in?
They didn't really get into any of that. They just found the 3 guys. The police went to the door, and when they went to the door, the owner of the home had woken up to answer the door, and they're like, "Hey, what's with the dead guys?" And he didn't know how they died. They didn't really get into much except for the parents of the dead guys are saying they think that they may have seen something or known something about this guy that they shouldn't have, but
and so
really it's a wacky story, and I couldn't really get much more information about it.
It's wacky, yeah. Was this in Kansas, Bruce?
That also didn't. I'm assuming it's either in Kansas or Missouri, which is.
I thought it was outside of Kansas City.
It's yeah.
And it's like they're not used to those super cold temps that came down there.
And it says the police confirmed that the man
So
allowed
cold
the
there,
officer
though.
to search his home.
That he allowed the police
Right.
to search his home.
Yeah, but then it doesn't go any further. Like, doesn't say what they found or anything.
maybe they
Listen.
said some bad things about
Right.
Taylor Swift because they were sick of seeing her on TV.
That's what I was
And-
thinking.
She dispatched a hit crew down there and got rid of them all.
She sent the Church of Satan after those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brewski, it sounds like you're going to have to be an investigative reporter on this one and call down to the police
No,
and tell
I'm
them
going.
we have a very important podcast called Union of the Unknowns, and you're an investigative reporter and you just want to get some more information on this story.
I'm heading there after the show.
On the scene. Yeah.
There you go.
If it was if Taylor Swift was responsible, I'm surprised they couldn't just shake it off. Sorry about that.
I see what you did there,
I'm
Terry.
ashamed. So is it Scottski? You're in the frozen north. Is it still
Yes.
really cold in up there?
No, so
Right.
we're
So
at
it's cold
we're
in
at like
Kansas as well, isn't
37
it?
degrees Fahrenheit here, which is pretty warm.
That's
for this
cold.
time of year. Well, it's
that's
like
not
it's
bad.
like summer
Yeah, that's-
up here.
That's
at
pretty.
this
That's
point.
pretty good. Yeah.
I don't even wear my
Yeah.
jacket when it's this warm. So
That's too cold for. Yeah.
yep.
Hmm.
Now a couple weeks ago it was like in the negative 35 wind chills, and now it's freaking cold.
And we're pushing
Man,
70
man.
this week down
I
here.
know,
in
like
Atlanta.
what's up? I need to move down by you guys.
Well, it was down in the 30s to teens at one point in the past week and a half or so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. Like 2 weeks ago when I was there.
Yep.
I was like, dang, I came from sunny South Florida to Georgia to having it be in the teens. I was like, this is some bullshit. I couldn't even go outside and smoke a
Wisconsin weather.
cigar.
Yeah.
Yep. That's nothing. We go out and picnic when it's like 30 degrees here.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30's not bad.
You guys go outside and let off fireworks for like New Year's and stuff like
Oh yeah,
that?
absolutely. Yep. Ice fishing. Ice fishing is very popular up here this time of year. Everyone's on the ice fishing. I have never gone ice fishing myself. I would like to at some point.
Wow.
But it's like,
So you
you
don't-
just go on the lake and you just get sloshed and go fishing.
You don't have a little tent that you set up and punch a hole.
Oh
sit
yeah.
there.
Yep. There's some crazy setups that people do. They'll do like little sheds they'll drag on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
they'll do like RVs and like little tents, like you said, like little temporary tents. But yeah,
RV.
yeah, some people they'll drive their trucks on the lake.
I would
Yep.
not drive my truck
Mhm.
onto water. I'm sorry. Like that's like, and then cracking the ice in front of you saying, hey, like if this can crack it, why can't your RV or your truck?
Well, it's a
Like-
drill.
Mhm.
You use a drill.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
use
still.
a ice auger. Rip
You
the
don't use just
hole
a
in there.
hatchet. And
There you
And
go.
I mean,
Crunch
you're
open the
just
ice.
out there drunk with
Yep.
your RV and an ice thing of cold water. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous. And then your RV is on driving to keep you warm, and then it's slowly melting the ice, and then all of a sudden you're all gonna be a bunch of drowned drunk idiots.
Yep. All of a sudden
Don't
you're
be
like
such a
freezing. You're like,
downer.
what just happened to me?
Cold water ain't so bad. I jumped in the lake a couple weeks ago and it was 20 degrees outside and the lake was like 37.
Oh
gosh,
yeah,
that's cold.
you're one of the polar bear guys, aren't you? Polar
I
bear.
only
club.
tried it
Yeah.
for the first time like 4 weeks ago
He's
and I've
like
done
a
it 3
Vim Hof
times.
old Perm, yeah.
Is that like your cold plunges,
Wow, I'm impressed.
Perm?
Well, I had
So-
never done a cold plunge before that, so I just started and we've done it 3 times. I think we're going tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They do that. We'll do that on New Year's Day here on Lake Michigan in Milwaukee. They'll do the polar
That's
bear
when we
plunge.
started.
Mm-hmm. All people go out there.
Women aren't allowed on the lake, really?
Yeah,
That's
we've
okay.
got
I
a
don't want to
comment
be on
here
it
from
anyways.
YouTube.
Huh?
It's like boys time on the lake. On the
Is
lake
any-
here, hey. Yeah.
So I went to log in to join all you lovely people in the chat. And apparently as of December 27th, my email has been scheduled for deletion by Google for violating something, even though I've had the email for like less than a year and I hardly ever use it. So I don't know
It's
what
probably
I
because you
did.
hardly ever use it. Are you able to log into it or no?
It wouldn't let me. It said that I've been disabled and that it's scheduled for deletion and I can start an appeal process if I want, but it wouldn't tell me what I did wrong. It said I violated the terms of service somehow.
No,
That's the thing with Google is I bet you like just certain emails and stuff like that, they're going to be tracking for keywords and stuff. And then they're going to be like, no, you violated that term of service. And we're just going to wipe out your whole company
It's not even a
email.
Google email though. It's my own domain. And I've hardly used it.
huh?
Yeah. So
Weird.
just start the appeal
You're
process.
a well-known,
That-
dangerous, wrong thinker, I'm afraid, Perm.
Apparently.
They are deleting emails and stuff like that people aren't using. They're just going through that process right now.
Yeah.
So that might be it. It might be because if
But
you
that
have
would be a
for-
Gmail. But this
Correct.
is my own email.
Yeah, so they can't delete your own personal email. Where did you buy it from?
Name's cheap, but they just
Chico
when I
down the
logged
street.
in, they said I violated terms of service.
Namescheap did or Google?
Google.
But you would have logged in through a Gmail account, not your Namescheap.
No, but you can
not your-
set up a YouTube account under other emails other than Gmail.
Got you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Get you
Well-
a Proton
Given
mail.
that we're
Proton
going
mail's free.
So what? Just
Yeah,
set up underneath
that's a good one.
another set up a Gmail or whatever and just set up
Yeah.
underneath that.
Hmm.
And then you can just forward
Given
that
that we're
email
going to
over
be
to
on
something
YouTube
else.
with this episode. So I was going to say, given that we're going to be on YouTube with this episode, am I allowed to say that YouTube?
I don't know. We
sucks?
are on YouTube right
Sucks
now,
donkey.
Terry.
Yes.
We're actually live on YouTube right now.
You can say any word
Well,
as long
yeah,
as it
maybe that
as it doesn't start with the letter V
sect.
and end in the letter axine. As long as you
Don't say these
that,
keywords.
then you'll be
Right.
fine.
Like I can't think of another one.
Veranda.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Make
'cause
sure you
like
appeal
Stella
that,
says, it is the best platform for watching and sharing videos, really, isn't it? By far.
Listen, YouTube
But
University,
political
that's what we're here
policy,
for.
you know, sucks
It's just
big
kind of
time.
crazy that you're appealing something that you don't even know what you did.
Yeah, you
At
would
least-
think that they would have
At
to
least
tell
tell me
you.
the violation.
Yeah.
And I could be like, oh, wait, I did do that. So don't mind me. I won't appeal this decision.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why are we wasting each other's time?
Yep. You're just on a government watch list somewhere. That's why they.
I think
tell
that's
you
part of
did
the trick.
Aren't we all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
All of us.
definitely.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody in the world has an entry in the government database, but then they've just got a series of little check boxes.
Mhm.
And if you get enough of those, then they start paying attention to you.
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
little
Yes.
hashes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Did
Yep.
you, if you voted
Mhm.
for Ron Paul in an election, you get a check mark, and if
Yep.
you said the word libertarianism at some point, you get another checkbox. And
Yep.
Hmm.
If he hung out with you guys, you get lots of
Yes.
checkboxes.
100%.
if you host a podcast that dislikes the government, it's you get several checkboxes.
Look
Yep.
at this. This
that?
person sent me a friend request on
Fortunately-
Facebook.
Fortunately, we love the government.
Seems
like a-
legit.
Looks like a really important
See a
guy.
mayor.
He's
Is that
a-
a Nigerian
That's a
prince?
Nigerian
and
prince.
it-
He's gonna send you money.
Is that what it is? No,
Yeah.
no. I think he lives in Atlanta. So, anyways, so
He
he's
could
got
still
like
be a
all this
Nigerian
Masonic
prince.
stuff. And remember when we did that episode with Bruce with Brad Brad. I was about to say Brad Pitt
Brad,
with
yeah.
Brad, and we were talking about the kings of whatever it was.
Knights
Remember?
Templar?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
wanted to. I should just like send him our episode and be like, "No thanks, I don't need friends."
Looks like that guy. Yeah.
Why don't you get him on the show?
Get him on the show.
Yeah,
We could quiz him.
I'd like to have a chat with that
Yeah.
guy.
There you go.
Speaking
that
of
outfit.
Brad,
I think that outfit's at my Goodwill here in town. I'll go get it.
I'm only accepting your friend request to invite you onto our podcast.
speaking of Brad, he's going to be moderating the libertarian debate tomorrow. For the
Awesome.
Libertarian Party of Georgia has their convention tomorrow,
Wow.
and he's moderating the debate between the candidates.
That's awesome. How exciting.
Is that going to be
So-
like streaming anywhere, or you'd be able to watch it?
I don't know. I'm going to go. It's right down the street, right down in
Yeah.
Conyers. So
I
I'm
think
gonna
the
go.
Tower Gang guys are going to be there too.
Power Gang's going to be there. Spike Cohen's going to speak.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see.
so I'm going to go check it out.
Nice.
Terry, you should just
Give us a
swing
full
by.
report, Keel.
I will.
Do you know the candidates?
There
you know
was
the
a list. I
candidates
don't
too?
recall their names. There are a bunch of people I'd never heard of, I don't think.
Hmm.
But we could probably look it up real quick while you guys vamp while I do this. You know, so
There you go.
Vamp.
how about
What
them
is
Braves?
vamp?
It's after the sort of libertarian
Scott,
after the
you just have
libertarian
like this
party
plain look on your
takeover
face.
that that got rid of all those.
Like, hello. I'm debating. Do I get another drink or no? I'm like,
You had two already, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the two? Not that I'm counting. It was only because you said what you were drinking, and you're like, "I have this one next."
Yeah, that was rum. You said you're drinking rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke was starting, and then I finished. All right, my last one was a barrel aged sour.
Oh, from Oscar Blues. That's right.
Yep, Oscar Blues. Yep.
I remember that.
I've been doing dry January, so
Yeah. I mean, you need that sometimes.
yeah.
You know, that's not allowed here in Wisconsin, though.
Only
No.
4 more days to go.
And
Former, I know, right?
I wish you the best. I never understood that
Cold,
concept, but
dry.
more
Well,
power
I
to you.
gave this month to God, so
And you
that's
can
why I
get
did it. I
your-
wanted to
your
fast
car
from
wine.
it for him.
amen.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's been
did-
hard the last few days, though, huh?
I did a dry 72 hours recently. And that
Oh,
was it.
really?
So, yeah, and I can't. I need it again.
You need it again.
Yeah.
All right, so I have the list.
What
So,
time is it tomorrow?
the convention's already started. They had a thing today, but tomorrow's schedule starts at 9, and they've got a couple speakers, and then the debate is at 2:30. It's moderated by Brad Binkley and Clint Russell, whose name I don't recognize. That's not the same Clint from.
Is
He-
that Monica's friend Clint?
I think he's on Timcast a lot.
Yeah, he's a podcaster. I've heard that name before.
So the candidates are Jacob Hornberger, Chase Oliver, who I do recognize. He ran for Senate down here in Georgia. Joshua Smith, Mike Termott, Lars Mapstead, Michael Reckenwald, and Toad. I think Toad is a guy, one of the Tower Gang
Toad?
guys, maybe.
Yeah, Toad's Tower Gang.
All right.
Toad for president.
There's quite a lot of people.
Yep.
People.
So that'll
And
be
Clint
that.
Russell has a podcast, Liberty Lockdown.
President
yeah.
Toad
Yep,
has got a
that's the
bit of
one.
a ring to it. Right.
So I'll go down there. I'll take some pictures. I'll put up
Listen,
some.
get
Union
us on
of Dems pictures.
Timcast. Speak to the guy Clint. Just have a one-on-one conversation with him, Keel, and then get yourself or someone else out on Timcast, and as a guest on there.
You gotta
Make
go
it
to
work.
West Virginia.
Yeah, that's okay. Can fly in. Who is it? Who's
Yeah.
close? Brewski's
I'll-
close.
To West Virginia?
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
Closer than I am.
Country roads take me home, man.
Terry
Yeah.
might be closer to West
Terry's
Virginia
close.
than me.
I'll tell you what.
If I could ask a
I can-
serious question.
Yeah, Terry.
Sorry, I was going to ask a serious question. Does the Libertarian Party, I don't know if anyone knows, does it work like the other, the two main parties? Do they have conventions in each state and, they have a vote and then
Yep.
they decide who the candidate's going to be based on that?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily it
Ooh.
works like the other two parties because I've never even heard of any libertarians in my state.
Yeah, it's not. They aren't. It's the largest third party, but it's not big enough to actually get any kind of federal support like the other two parties. So they don't get on the ballots unless you're voting. Unless you're like, usually you can get in the primaries. You can get to like an independent ballot, and it'll have a libertarian on there, maybe if I'm remembering correctly. But they're definitely on the general election ballot. You get all the different parties as long as they get enough signatures, and they pay the filing fee or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they get on the ballot.
Yeah, they show up on the ballots. You just never hear about them until the ballot.
Yeah.
Now this is just the Libertarian Party of Georgia convention. This is not the country, like the National Libertarian Party convention, which will decide the actual candidate for president. But I'm looking forward to the debate
Right,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, I hope that it's streamed or at least recorded so we can listen to it later. I'd love to hear Grant talk.
Yeah, I've watched these debates before so I know they're recorded. I don't know if they'll be live streamed, but if it is, I'll certainly post a notice in our Discord channels, and then I'll try to sneak up on stage and go, "Hey, I'm on TV!" Yeah, I'm on TV.
You're gonna wear your shaman suit?
Right.
What suit?
Just streak across the stage. It's like, oh my god, it's
there you
Keel.
go.
There he goes.
You could be the libertarian shaman.
Oh yeah. I'll put my
Yeah,
my
so
Viking actual
Someone's put
Viking
a comment up here.
garb on.
Oh, really? Wow. Someone's put a comment up here. I went to the
Paxlovid.
primary and voted for Paxlovid, which I thought was quite a good comment. Yeah.
Hey, if it's
Yeah,
COVID,
so you can get
Back-
I
rebound.
was going to ask
Yeah,
as
if you want
well.
rebound
COVID.
COVID.
Rebound COVID.
You get
Do you want to be out of
election
work
rebound
longer?
with
Do you want
Paxlovid.
do you want to be out of work later? Do you want to get sicker? Do you want to stay in bed for 2 weeks? Paxlovid for rebound COVID.
That's
That
right.
will do it for you.
You should do the ad for it, Jackie.
Put that on the
Yeah.
bumper sticker. Paxlovid. Yep.
For rebound
Yeah.
COVID.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like to brag that one of my coworkers sent me a text message one day. His wife, he was home taking care of his wife because she tested herself and she had COVID, so she was kind of sick, and the doctor had prescribed Paxlovid for her, and my coworker wisely texted me about it and said, "Hey man, have you heard of this Paxlovid stuff? What do you think? What's the the buzz about that?" And I said, oh, okay. If you want rebound COVID, Paxlovid, like I gave him all this crap, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he ended up not getting the pack, not filling the prescription. So I was like, yeah, I made a difference.
That was a win.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you
weird.
made a difference.
Who is it?
My
That
dad
happened to my
got
One
neighbor.
good thing you can say
Paxlovid
about
too,
it.
and I told him about the rebound stuff, and the exact thing happened. He felt good for a few days and felt like shit again afterwards.
Golly. Terry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, one good thing I can say about it. Well, one good thing I can say about Paxlovid is it's better than Run, Death is Near. So there's something good.
I had
to
a
say
friend
about
who was
it.
on that.
Paxlovid is $1,600.
Yeah, is that right? That can't. I mean,
Is
surely
that right?
it's got to be subsidized more
Maybe
than
that's
that.
a full course.
Maybe.
Well, after
Yeah.
your insurance pays for it, you only have to pay $1,550.
Right. You get that.
That's
Here,
right.
the pharmacist tells you, oh yeah, it's only $35. Oh great, here you go. And then you get that explanation of benefits in the mail, and it actually only took off $35.
yeah.
Well, I gotta run, guys.
Bye,
All right,
Perm.
Great hanging
Appreciate
out with you.
you.
Hey, good to see
Yeah,
you,
that was
Perm.
Yeah.
great to have you.
Yeah.
Later, Perm.
We'll get you
Great
back
That's
on
what
again
they-
soon.
Love you, Perm. Have a
Look out for the
wonderful evening, and
volcano.
I'll hit you up later in Discord.
All right,
So-
sounds good.
Yep. Cheers, bro.
Yeah,
Take
watch
care.
out for those volcanoes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I need to
So-
stop that.
That's what they charge Medicare. Okay.
Yeah. So my neighbor
Yeah.
had taken it, and he's like, I was feeling so much better. Then I took
$1,600.
Paxlovid, and now I feel like crap again. I was like, you dummy. Why didn't you ask me first when you took that? I was like, even Fauci and Biden got rebound on that.
Yeah, that was
No,
Yeah.
thank
famously
you.
Mm-hmm.
like both of them. And then even the director of the CDC didn't that same damn thing happen to her too, didn't it?
God bless her.
They
Well,
all
yeah.
wow. And they were all talking up Paxlovid, how great it was, and
This is the shy one right here. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Oh,
Nope.
bye. Hi,
Like, nope.
bye.
Yep.
Hi,
Bye.
bye. I'll just hide in daddy. So, okay, listen, if anybody wants to find us, they can find us at unionoftheunknowns.com. We also, if they want to find us at not you are mamas plural news.com, not you are mamas news.com. There you'll be able to find us. You can chat with Ash on Twitter or now X. You can leave us a great voice message on our number, which you can get that all at our website, or email us at unionoftheunknowns at unionoftheunknowns at gmail.com. And you can reach all of us there. If you have anything specific for any one person, just feel free to leave that person's name or whatever, and we'll make sure that they get it. You can also come and hang out with us on the Discord, which you're able to get through there as well. And then if you do want to get any of our special episodes or anything like that that we can't share on YouTube, you definitely can subscribe to us on Rokfin and our Rumble channel. So anyways, everyone, does anyone else have anything last thing they'd like to say?
Yeah, don't forget about the smooth bonus content.
yeah. All of our audio that we've ever recorded is available through any of your podcatching apps and websites and things. So, and I think you could watch video on Spotify. I don't know. I've never done that. I don't have Spotify.
You can.
I believe
It's
it's on there.
preferred.
So,
I prefer
Okay.
video.
yep. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Anyone else? Terry,
All right.
Scott, Bruce King.
Yep.
No.
Thanks for having me on again.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
you guys.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Not Your Mama's News has been a production of the Union of the Unknowns podcast. New episodes are available weekly on all your favorite podcasting networks.